Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about the one thing we started doing this year that really improved the productivity of our remote team. Okay, so last week I introduced you to my team. I was sitting on the beach with Rowena and Sandy and introduced you to them. And it was like the first time we've all been in the same place, and it was actually kind of nice. Even this week, being in the office, it's been nice that we got to know each other a lot better last week. You know, sitting around having chatting about this, that, and the other thing, talking about how we can improve things, the projects that we have on the moment, the projects in the past, and having a laugh about those kind of things. And it was really great. So I got one of the comments on that video last week was from future successors who said, can you make a follow-up video on this and maybe expand on it? I know exactly what you mean with the frustrations on Upwork and have been trying to find reliable people for a while now. Dude, I could tell you some stories. One of these, don't get me started. Would love to hear more tips about finding people, hiring, training them, etc., etc. Thanks. Now, I've already done a video on how I find people. I think it was episode 66 last year, which I use a website called onlinejobs.ph, which that is not an endorsement. I've had lots of trouble with that, but it's just really finding the right people. And I've been through so many people on the team. I mentioned this before, just to find the right people. And I'm not so much interested in skills, although skills are important, but more the right attitude, all that kind of stuff. And I've just accepted the fact that I have to go through a lot of people to find the really good ones. There has to be that, hire and then let go, hire and then let go, and everything like that. And I used to beat myself up about it in the beginning, thinking, why can't I find good people? But that's just the way that it goes. Sometimes you got to find those right people which you really gel and click with. And I'm really lucky to have the team that I do at the moment. And every time we expand, it's like really, I tread carefully because I've just been burned in the past so many times. And a lot of times I had to come to the conclusion that it's either there's like a lot of bad people out there or I'm not really good as a manager. And I said this last week, I'm not a very good manager. That is not hyperbole, that is fact, right? So it's getting through a lot of people and all that stuff. So check out that video. I'll talk, episode 66, I talk a little bit about how, about some of the problems I've had in the past. Now, one of the big things we did this year to improve things was, right now we have a daily call. Almost like if you do Scrum, it's like having the daily Scrum. Like every day at 9 o'clock we have 9 o'clock UK time, 5 p.m. in the Philippines. We have a daily like 5-10 minute phone call. We use Slack calls, so we use voice. We tried to do it with just chat before. We tried to do it with webcams. We do once a week. We do webcam conversations, which really helps to see each other. But every day we do the phone call, and it's. I wish we had implemented this so much longer before, because it's such an obvious thing, right? If you're in an office, you need to have that communication. Now, one of the things we talked about was like morale was actually kind of low towards the end of last year because I was super stressed out with a few different projects. Our revenue was falling. There was all these different things going on, and I was just stressed out. So I didn't have a lot of time to chat on Slack and everything like that. Some members of the team may have felt like they didn't have a lot of work to do. They felt like they were kind of just becoming less and less important because everybody wants to contribute. We're all behind the overpass. We're all pushing this boulder up the hill, and if they don't understand, if they don't see how they can help, then obviously, this is what I mean, finding the right people. So one of the best things about having the daily call is we go through and we talk about what everybody's working on, just like a daily Scrum. So I start with myself. This is what I plan on doing today. I'm going to work on this document for a client. I'm going to do this code for this client project. I'm going to try to do a little bit of prospecting. I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing, and then I'll go around what I think everybody's working on and also what they're thinking. So I might say, can you work on this? Can you do that? Or what are you working on? And everybody's just making sure that everybody's busy. Because like I said, this is one of the failings that I have in the past, was just not keeping everyone busy. Not because everybody wants to contribute, and it's really working out. So it's having that daily call is probably the best thing I've done going forward, or since the beginning of this year. When we talked about things have just turned around since January this year because we have that daily phone call, and it just having voice, because sometimes when I'm stressed, you could tell in chat. They were telling me we could tell when you're stressed out in chat because you have these short answers and everything, and I might be smiling in this video, but sometimes I'm just so it's, you know, if you hire someone, make sure communication is always the biggest thing. I mean, it's so obvious, and I've been so bad about it in the past. You know, having that daily call is probably the best thing, and finding the right people. If you are looking for a full-time person to help on your team, I highly recommend it. Somebody said it in the comments before, hire slow and fire fast. You know, you can only give so many second chances. I don't think you should give a single second chance. Put everyone on a trial period, you know, try them out. And a lot of the things is, if you feel like you don't have enough people to do, you have to start offloading that stuff. And it's something I'm really bad at. So anyway, I hope that helps a little bit. If you want me to talk a little bit more about this, I can. If you have any specific questions, let me know. But anyway, and hey, if you've had experiences with this, let me know how it goes. I find Upwork works fine for like temporary projects, like something maybe a couple days or a few weeks, but for the long term, I really have to have somebody there in my corner, somebody there who's willing to contribute, somebody, like I said, we're all pushing this boulder uphill, and you know, anybody who could just put their back into it and move it forward, it really helps. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow.